Do 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 do. Back ants. Hello, so this is my Anthouse Acri medium with the mushroom formicarium, and I've been using this for over a year now, and I've had a lot of problems with it. So in this video, I'm hopefully going to be showing you through some fixes to make it really usable, because right now in its current state, it really is not usable for me. So yeah, the first problem I noticed was that the only connection port on this entire thing, I can take it off and I'll show you. The only connection port it isn't even round if you look at it. There's a really small section of round tubing, but then it goes straight. The actual nest entrance itself is rectangular, you can see in there. So there really wasn't any way to get a tube to actually fit into it. Here's a good representation of how not even a standard plug can plug up this hole. So I put it in the hole, and before it can get deep enough to have any suction, it hits, try to get it back in focus, it hits this lip. You can see how there's like another lip in there that's rectangular, and it keeps this thing from going in and forming a tight seal. So there's no way for me to seal it without using tape and a cotton ball. Now you might be asking, why don't I just use it as is and seal up this part and then use this as the outworld, as the formicarium? And there were huge issues with this because this was so shallow. Like, here's my pinky finger. My pinky finger doesn't even reach the lip of this. And remember, the actual outworld itself is shallower because this insets into it. So there is literally such little space in here. You can see I couldn't clean it out because the honey was just getting smushed in here, and this overlip, the covering, the chamber, it doesn't let you put anything in there. You can't put any food. So this isn't a feasible outworld, and this isn't a feasible connection point. So my solution to this problem is this. This is a standard plastic container you'll get mealworms or superworms in if you go to the pet store, at least at PetSmart around here, and I'm sure there's a lot of easy ways to use it, or you could use other containers. And I cut out the bottom of this hole, and I added a standard 3/8 inch connection point, so that I can tape this to this opening, use this as an outworld, and also have a suitable connection point so I can connect any test tubes with sugar water or extra outworlds to it if I need to. Because this thing as it is not sufficient. Alright, and now you can see with this simple fix, I have fixed the two most major problems of the design. I fixed the bad connection port by this connection port, and I also fixed the useless outworld by adding a larger outworld on top of it. So now, just by adding this one container with a hole cut in the bottom and a 3/8 inch hole drilled in the side, I've allowed for a very easy way to feed them and a way to add new systems, tubes, and outworlds to the formicarium without having to go through all the trouble that you saw earlier in the video. However, the connection port and the bad outworld design are two of the biggest flaws, but they are not the only two flaws in this design. A third flaw that I noticed later on was that the mushroom watering system is really difficult to refill. In order to refill the watering system, you have to lift up the entire formicarium, detach the rubber bands, remove the water, and then you need to do the same process again for putting the water back on after you refill it. And I think that is a very complicated way of doing things, and it could be much easier. So I'll show you through one simple fix that'll make changing the water much easier. The fix was super simple, and all I did was drill a small hole into the side of the water container so that I can use a standard blunt-ended syringe. So whenever I need to fill the water up without having to move the formicarium, I can still fill it with water. And here you can see, it works like a charm. Although it might take quite a few syringes to fill, it's a good way to keep it topped up rather than letting it run low and then having to change it every couple of months. So yeah, overall, I love this Anthouse Acri medium formicarium. I really love the aesthetics of it, and my ants really love the mushroom, and they've been really well in there. My Lasius neoniger colony has a ton of brood, and they seem like they're really going to fill out this formicarium this year. But even though it does look cool and it has decent functionability, I would not buy this formicarium unless you have some idea of how you want to take care of the problem with the insufficient outworld and also the bad connector points. So unless you have any ideas of your own, this is probably your best bet. If you already have one of these and you're facing the same problems that I am, these are just two simple solutions to fix three very big problems with this formicarium. So hopefully any of you that are in my situation can see this video, and hopefully you can get a lot more life and practicability out of this formicarium that looks great upon first inspection, but upon receiving it actually had so many problems it was rendered virtually useless for me. So I hope you enjoyed the video and you took something good out of this. If you're looking to buy one of these formicariums, again, I think it is well worth your money as long as you're prepared to put maybe an hour into making it useful and practical for your daily uses.